Look, Fujimaru, Mash, Da Vinci, Roman, Olga, Nemo, Sion, Gordolf, Holmes, Kadok. We know the squad. But don't get it twisted. These aren't the only heroes holding Chaldea together. There are some unsung legends in the background, and they don't always get the spotlight they deserve in the story. So yeah, let's take a moment to honor these underappreciated MVPs, the staff that rarely gets a mention but keeps everything running smoothly. Some of them have wild names like Jingle Abel Meuniere, while others are super simple, like Dustin or Sylvia. But no matter the name, their contributions are straight up legendary. It's time to give these low-key heroes the shout-out they've been waiting for. Dustin. One of Chaldea's unsung heroes, Dustin is the tech guy handling base maintenance. Honestly, I bet 99% of you have no clue who he is. Probably don't even know his name. Heck, I'm not even sure if it's Dustin or Dustin, but I'll stick with Dustin. He was once a cosmic rays physicist before Marisbury brought him in to work on the particle accelerator. He's been keeping Chaldea running smoothly for a solid 15 years. A true legend behind the scenes. Dustin had zero clue about magecraft when he first met Marisbury. Imagine showing up for a regular physics gig and suddenly being tossed into a world of magic and mystics. It must be really hard for him. Even after learning a thing or two about magecraft, he pretty much remained the normal guy in a land of mages, getting his hands dirty with tech and sometimes clashing with his mage co-workers over, magic versus science stuff. Classic workplace tension. Dustin wasn't exactly a fan of Olga Marie Animosphere, often seeing her as incompetent and always angry. Still, he respected how she managed to keep things together, especially given the pressure. He thought the rest of Chaldea should have been more understanding of her situation. Now, after 15 years of working at Chaldea, Dustin views it as his home. But as a regular human, he can't stand it when arrogant mages throw around condescending comments. Now, what happened to Dustin? Well, here's a spoiler for the Lost Belt arc. After the attack on Chaldea in Part 2, the list of survivors didn't include him. Yep, no Dustin. This leaves his fate totally unclear. Did he die in the attack? Maybe. Some survivors, like Meuniere and Serigera, were only listed by their last names. And since we don't know Dustin's surname, there's a slim chance he's on the list under a different name. But still, after that event, we haven't seen or heard from him since. Meuniere. Meuniere is quite the underrated gem in Fate Grand Order, evolving from a simple background character to a full-blown Chaldea hero. First introduced in the Epic of Remnant, he's now the team's helmsman, and the guy who's stuck around through all of Chaldea's wild messes. He's got a soft spot for Astolfo and Dion, both of whom have ambiguous genders, fueling fan speculation about Meuniere's sexuality. But let's just call him a man of culture. His obsession with cute, ambiguous characters isn't just some headcanon either. In the Taurus Rialta manga, his room is full of posters of Astolfo, Dion, and even Mash. This dude's ride or die for the pretty boys and girls. Well, and those in between. He's also a low-key rule breaker, like when he helped Astolfo and Dion sneak into a race shift for Agartha without even worrying about his paycheck being docked. So yeah, Meuniere somehow survived Koyanskaya's 2017 Christmas purge. The dude's lucky. Fast forward, he's now the helmsman of the Shadow Border, which means he's stuck sitting next to Gordolf a lot. Over time, they've basically become besties. Gordolf, being the chaotic director he is, constantly messes up Meuniere's name, calling him random food names, probably because Meuniere is also a French sauce and a cooking method. Poor guy has to babysit Gordolf's wild decisions, but you can tell there's a bit of bro respect there. It's like a weird sibling or uncle-nephew dynamic. Meuniere surprisingly has a deep backstory. He inherited a magic crest, meaning his family saw him as a big deal. And in Nahue Mictlan, we find out he used to be involved in some intense mage politics, with a bunch of enemies who are now his co-workers in Chaldea. After all that, Meuniere is over it. He straight up tells Gordolf he'd rather sell his magic crest and live a normal, drama-free life. Honestly, from the perspective of an ordinary human, that's some underrated character development. Behind all that, Meuniere's really stepped up from being a background guy to a pretty solid character, and we've gotten some wild moments from him. Like, remember when Da Vinci hacked the cameras during the Oni Tower Setsubun event and slapped clothes on the nude servants in the hot springs? Yeah, this man was crying, absolutely devastated. Oh, and for some reason, he's the only Chaldea staff member on Oberon's debt list. How did Oberon sweet-talk Meuniere into lending him money? We may never know. Then there's the insane moment in Lost Belt 7 when Tezcatlipoca literally shoots him in the head. But nah, Meuniere's not going down that easy. Thanks to his magic crest and Rasputin's pro-level surgery, he somehow pulls off a miraculous comeback, because Chaldea just couldn't handle losing their unsung hero. Sylvia might be one of the lesser-known Chaldea crew members, but she's got an interesting backstory. Originally a clock tower student with that classic mage arrogance, she looked down on her muggle co-workers when she first joined. However, fighting alongside them to save the world humbled her, making her more empathetic. You can even catch glimpses of her tough, no-nonsense attitude in a few chapters. In the Babylonia anime, episode 18, Sylvia gets a moment to shine by providing play-by-play commentary during the intense fight against Tiamat. However, after the Lost Belt prologue, Sylvia just kind of vanished. Unlike Meuniere, who remained relevant, she pretty much became a background character. Don't worry, she's mentioned as one of the survivors from the Lost Belt prologue. She even had a shocked moment seeing Da Vinci as a kid. And yeah, in the side series, Fujimaru Ritsuka doesn't get it. She's shown still being around during the Lost Belt adventures. But after that, total mystery. Maybe she's chilling in Chaldea, running the behind-the-scenes operations, or just waiting for her next big moment to shine. If the writers ever decide to give her one, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Elrond Karajera, Chaldea's records keeper with an incredibly good memory. Seriously, she can recall every single time her crush said her name, ever. She also keeps a journal for fun. Now, if you've ever wondered who opened the doors when Koyanskaya and her gang showed up, well, it was Elrond and her crush. Yeah, that day. The one that led to the destruction of Chaldea and the massacre of its staff. After that, Elrond's got some serious survivor's guilt, especially because her photographic memory means she can't forget a single haunting detail. At that time, she had a crush on a fellow staffer who totally felt the same as her, but they were always too busy saving the world to make it official. They had plans to finally start dating after finishing one last job together, the job being Chaldea's gate duty. And well, we know how that turned out. Her crush didn't make it out, but Elrond did, and now she's carrying all that guilt on her shoulders. In the Paper Moon chapter, we're about to meet Elrond's AI version, who somehow ends up becoming the Master of Lancer. No idea what the story is yet, but I'm already hyped. And if you're wondering why a character with such a fancy design is only just now getting some spotlight, well, here's the tea. Her name was planned way back during the 2018 prologue, but they didn't even have a first name for her at that point. It wasn't until 2023, when Ordeal Call kicked off, that they finally locked down her design and full name. Then there's Maomaomao, a young woman about the same age as Fujimaru, who works as an operator while we're still chilling at Chaldea's Antarctic base. She's big on keeping a daily journal, writing in it religiously. One time, Fujimaru accidentally peeked into her journal and noticed that she had marked her birthday, which had passed a long time ago. So, what does Fujimaru do? In the middle of the night, he immediately whips up a birthday cake for her. Mash, who was just there for a late-night snack, ends up helping with the whole cake baking operation. The next day, Mao eats the cake, while crying. Then there's Soria Najwa, a dude who's a bit bulkier, maybe a little older than Fujimaru, but pretty much around the same age. He's often found on the front lines as one of the go-to operators. Najwa, Mao, Meuniere, and Fujimaru got this little squad going on, always hanging out in Meuniere's room, chatting about who knows what. They've even named their crew Youth of Chaldea because, well, they're young. Mash probably joins in on the conversation sometimes too, but not in Meuniere's room. I mean, his place is basically a shrine with Mash, Dion, and Astolfo posters everywhere. Kinda awkward. Yeah, but here's the bad news. They're not with us anymore. Yep, after that attack back in 2017, right after Christmas, only 8 staff members from Chaldea made it through. And from the Youth of Chaldea squad, only Meuniere and Fujimaru survived the whole mess. Of course, Chaldea had more staff, but these were the ones with some stories worth digging into. Big respect to the history observers, the future protectors, and the defenders of humanity. They did their part. Now hit that subscribe and share so these heroes can get the recognition they deserve. And also don't forget to drop a comment so I don't run out of ideas.